you're going to be participating in this risk-sharing pool for a prolonged period of time. Our pool, just like many in the industry, we're only running policies that are short-tailed for a year. And with our customers, all the premium goes into their captive bank account, and then eventually we invoice them for the premiums. There are some folks out there that will, the premium goes to the captive manager, they hold it until the license has been issued, and that could lead to some problems with the customer not being able to get their money for a while. There was an issue with some domiciles last year delaying some of the licenses because there was such an influx for 6 or 8 months. So you want to be very careful when you pick that manager. Try to figure out who is holding that money, because ultimately, if it's the manager, your client may be without their cash for 6 or 8 months, which could cause some heartache. I have seen that personally at some of the firms I've been with. Now, in terms of the specific investments that you'd want to put into the captive, remember that the captive is a C corporation. So you are going to be double taxed on the gain of the investment inside of this captive. So you want to focus on things like muni bonds. You want to invest in domestic C corporations because you get that 70% dividends received deduction. So those are the types of things you would want to invest in. But bear in mind, you need to look at the captive overall as a legitimate insurance company, and you need to invest like an insurance company. You need to invest in liquid risk so that you can pay claims, because that's the name of the game. Generally, in the first year, I don't recommend my customers to invest any more than 40% in equities. Most of the proceeds should be in the early years in bonds, fixed income, cash equivalents, at least in the first couple of years. Now, once you get out to 3 years and you've had this captive for a while, can you invest in less liquid items? Yes, you can, but it should be a fairly small percentage of the overall portfolio. And some of the onshore domiciles wouldn't even let you invest in less liquid assets. For example, I've seen clients want to invest in some real estate. Well, if you do it, it needs to be a small portion. Ideally, 10% or less of the total capital and surplus should be invested in real estate or any type of less liquid investment. And it's not as easy. If you go offshore, generally, you can get by with a lot more flexibility on the investments. But bear in mind, sometimes you may be with some other managers doing some dubious practices. So you need to be careful to choose an offshore domicile just because you can get away with more. I don't think that's the appropriate reason for going offshore. I do think there's some good reasons to do so in the realm of asset protection. But again, investment flexibility by itself and lower capitalization going offshore, I don't think are the sole reasons why you would want to do that. Scott, why don't we pause here and let's do another polling question.
Okay. And you'd like to go to, do you currently have clients?
Yes, why don't we do that question?
Okay. This is something you may want to perhaps even revisit after we've gone through Q&A, especially because we have quite a few don't knows, actually about a third of you responding with don't know. And granted, the session has only been an hour, and so a lot has been covered, but of course not everything. And so we are going to close this one down here. We're split pretty much third here. So.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, and we had a couple questions here. I guess, let's see, we had Steve. Steve, you have asked some good questions. Do we need to have claims on the insurance? And I think that's a great question. I've had a couple questions